What's up YouTube, HPJ here, and I'm coming with you guys today with a Harpie deck profile, that if you watched my stream from yesterday or you watched the playback, I pretty much built this deck, during stream, and I I don't have much time to really test it. Everything's at the moment down, with mobile devices, so because I don't own a desktop or laptop, I don't have access to Ygopro 2 and stuff where I could test something like this or do deck profile like that from there. But fortunately enough, I still have cards that I can really work off of. Just the unfortunate part is, due to everyone wanting to have servers down at the moment and no one seeming to have a relatively useful AI system, or no one wants to properly update their system. I'm looking at you, Ygopro. I'm relegated to pretty much bad backseat deck construction. So, I'm just going to give you guys pretty much what I did yesterday during the live stream. Someone did ask for the deck profile. Now, I will cringe at a lot of my own choices. But I seen a couple other videos a while back, heard their explanation for a large portion of what they were running. Makes sense in a lot of cases. So I'm just gonna at least give it the try and see where it goes from there. So don't hate me for just trying something new. I'm at least trying something new. Alright, so for the monster lineup, it's relatively only Harpie ladies. There's no hand traps in the main. There's no dragon in the main. It's just all Harpies. So it starts off with triple Harpie Chandler. Remember, Harpie Chandler is pretty much your key card for this deck. To discard a Harpie card to summon a Harpie monster in defense, you're relegated to a large portion of your deck at this point. To such summon a large portion of all the Harpie monsters, with the exception of Harpie Sisters. If you control a dragon type monster, her level changes from 47. So if you're deciding to run Harpie's pet, this is pretty much your rank 7 play startup. If you're playing Harpie's pet dragon, be careful because, like it says in her attacks, she changes her level from 4 to 7. Which means a level 4 Harpie's pet baby dragon and a level 7 Harpie Chandler will have no synergy except for the fact that she summoned it and he's protecting her from battle at least once. So that's pretty much Harpie Chandler in a nutshell. Next is Harpie Dancer, and I'm still rocking my full set. I love to have the full set of Harpie Dancer because it just allows a lot of back and forth plays with the hand and the field. You get to manipulate a large portion of Harpie's Hunting Grounds effect to pop multiple back row because she is treated as Harpie Lady while she's on the field or in the graveyard. So getting your other Harpie monsters from your hand and putting them to the board, setting up a Chandler, putting a Harpist back to set her up for the Chandler. And just pretty much synergizing a large portion of your plays around Chandler or summoning another Harpie. And that's pretty much why Harpie Dancer is still unique and still useful to the Harpie archetype. Unless something comes that really makes her irrelevant. But that's Harpie Dancer. I'm running 3 Harpie Harpist. Harpist is relatively the one monster you either want in your hand to discard or you want her in the grave as fast as possible so that you can get her secondary effect off. Her first effect is not bad. It's actually relatively good. You target a face-up winged beast monster you control, a face-up monster your opponent controls, return those cards to hand. Even though most monsters these days cannot be targeted by card effect, if you can target some of the little monsters that are probably supporting the big one, that's a really easy way to force your opponent to waste special summons or waste normal summons to reset their board, and that's pretty much what Harpie's first effect is ensuring. Not to mention, if you play Divine with a Mist Valley, which unfortunately I'm not playing in this version, you get another disc, you get a bounce back effect of your winged beast, most likely a wind monster, and you can manipulate that to bring up more wind monsters, especially if, for instance, you need a Harpie Chandler in you don't have one, you can activate You can normal summon Harpies if you have another Harpie on the field. Bounce that Harpie back, put the channel on the board, discard the Harpie, and go into your other plays that you need a Chandler to be there for. And she has relatively decent enough attack strength, so she can hold her own with Honeyground the Harpie Lady 1. Next is my full set of Harpie Queen. Being a 19 beater does have its bonuses, but the main focus of Harpie Queen, is Harpie Queen can decide herself to add Harpie Hunting Ground from your deck to your hand. She is originally the first of the Harpie monsters to say this card is treated as Harpie Lady while she's on the field or in the graveyard, so that sets up place for Hysteric Party, which is one of Harpie's most powerful trap cards in the game, to give you so many advantages to that. She did pay the way for Harpie Chandler, Harpie Dancer, Harpie Harpist to have that similar effect. So this does not mess up your 3-of count. This gives you plays with Hysteric Party, Elegant Egotist, and a lot of the Harpie monsters, especially Harpie's Pet Dragon, Harpie's Pet Baby Dragon, and Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. So that is Queen. And then for my last Harpie monsters, it's pretty much just an array of. Some people do the array of if they want to span out their the skills or like their specific cards that they span out. So that's pretty much why I went back to this fan out of playing one Cyber Harpie, one Harpie Lady 1, and one normal monster Harpie Lady. So these monsters are treated as Harpie Lady no matter where they are: hand, field, deck, graveyard, banish. Because everyone in the deck is just trying to be her. So with Harpie Lady 1, you get the additional attack boost. I am one of those people who do like to switch around. I either go for my 2 Harpie Lady 1s and my Beast Stick Cyber Harpie, or I go for a full set of Harpie Lady 1, or I just want the additional Beat Stick, so I go for 2 Cyber Harpie and 1 Harpie Lady 1. Or if I'm feeling some type of generous, I go for 2 Harpie Lady 1 and a normal monster Harpie Lady. But since I guess so Emerald is technically out of the TCG, there are still relatively few plays Harpie Lady can give to you if you play the specific right cards, and I am running those specific cards in this deck, and I want to talk about that when I get to the spells. So that's pretty much it for my monsters. I'm running a full set of 15 Harpies. It does cut the monster lineup short, but I did expand the spells and traps, which do a lot of defending with a lot of offensive and defensive plays, especially when I need them in a lot of cases. So since we're seeking the spells, let's go into that. I'm running triple Hysteric Sign, I'm running triple Harpie's Hunting Ground, and 1 Elegant Egotist as my Harpie spell lineup. This lineup, of course, is pretty much just the toolbox for Harpies. Hysteric Sign allows you to get Elegant Egotist from your deck or graveyard. During the end phase, at least this card is sent from the field or hand to the graveyard. You can add up to 3 cards of Harpie in its name. We have access to a trap now, we have access to spells, and we have access to our monsters, thanks to Hysteric Sign. Just note, you cannot activate both effects in the same turn. If you activate Hysteric Sign, you cannot pop it and search during the end phase because you search for Elegant Egotist, and vice versa. Then the next of the cards, of course, is going to be Harpie's Hunting Ground. Although a lot of people tend to run it at 2, I like to run it at 3 because in case I do have to pop my field spell, I have another option to go into my other field spell. Not a lot of people are going to play back row, which is perfectly fine, so you need those options to at least keep that fear of you running your back row. I was thinking of putting Anti-Swell Fragrance back into this deck, but I'm just deciding to side it for right now and see how the rest of the format pans out before Flames of Destruction comes. Elegant Egotist is really... Actually, I'll talk about Egotist while I talk about Harpie's Hunting Ground. Since Harpie's Hunting Ground allows you to pop back row, Egotist does become a great factor in the sense of every monster being treated as Harpie Lady while in the field in the graveyard. So your summons are pretty much treated as MSTs. Your special summons are going to be treated as MSTs. Thanks to Hunting Ground and Egotist combo. And the only reason why you wouldn't run Egotist is because you practically have 3 Hysteric Signs to go and get those Elegant Egotists. Some people are running around playing the 2 of, that's perfectly fine if that's your preference of play, but I just love to run the 1 of Ego, have the 3 signs, and then have the hunting grounds. If we did have other targets to use Ellie and to Squid outside of Sisters, then it would be viable. Or at least Sisters have their rewording to at least be a lot more beneficial when it comes to playing them, as well as Ellie and Igitus. So that is those spells. And then for the rest of my spells, I'm running 1 Raigeki, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Monster Reborn. Monster Clearance, and Special Summoning. Pretty much for all of these 1-ups. And then I'm running 2 Swallow's Nest and 2 Inferno Reckless Summon. I'm not running Barrier Statue of the Stormwind, so I don't need to run, I would opt out I'd opt out of running the Vanilla Harpie Lady, and then I'd also opt out of running the Inferno Reckless to swap it in for Ties of the Brethren, which would be a better concept card when it came to it. I was debating on running 1 of each, a Swallow's Nest, Inferno Reckless, and a Barrier Statue, and then 3 of the next card in the spells. And so I had 1 of each option, and in case I didn't get into one, I had the other for play. But Swallow's Nest swaps out the Harpies, so you can swap out Chandler if someone's trying to negate it, to put another Harpie in her place. Or you can put in Harpie Chandler so she can do her summoning effect and, dodge a lot of cards here and there. Inferno Reckless Summon is unique in the sense that if you special summon a monster with 15 or less attack, you can special summon multiple copies of that monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard to the field. So with Harpie Lady, since everyone is Harpie Lady while on the field in the graveyard, you have those options. Your main targets pretty much are Harpie Chandler, Harpie Dancer, Harpie Lady 1, Vanilla Harpie Lady. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Harpie Lady 1. So your options are Harpie Chandler, Harpie Dancer, and Vanilla Harpie Lady. Harpie Lady 2 or 3, as long as Harpie's hunting. If Harpie's hunting ground is the only thing on the field, because Harpie Lady 1 will give them 300 attack instead of 2, and they'll be over 1500. You also have to note your opponent has to have a monster, so most likely it'll probably be a Link monster in this case scenario, or an Exceed, so they can't really summon multiples of it, and you can pretty much take that to your advantage to put a lot of more Exceed monsters and stuff onto the board. So that's why there's Inferno Reckless Summon for the doubles, as well as Swallow's Nest. And then the last spell I'm running is 2 Scapegoat. Scapegoat is going to see a lot more play in the sense of Goat can help you make Link monsters. Just pretty much the ones that say, I can take these monsters even though they're token. A lot of new Link monsters are excluding tokens, which kind of cuts off a majority of generic play. So running the Scapegoat helps to keep that generic play of generic Link monsters in circulation. Or what you'll see in my extra deck, I'm running something a little risky, but I'm running it for a specific reason, and Goat really does help that. The only issue I have with Goat is, of course, you have to waste your normal summon or set that turn. Your normal summon or set summon that turn, which you can still set. But in some cases, you probably want to pop this during your opponent's end phase and hope they don't have a way to negate it, or haven't found a way to blow it up. So that is the spells. Onto the traps. Very low number of traps. 3 Harpie's Feathers Storm. This is pretty much a card you can search for with Hysteric Sign, because it is it has Harpie in its name. If you control a winged beast, you negate the effects of all your opponent's effect monsters till the end of the turn. So that means hand traps, cards effects in the graveyard, card effects on the field that are not continuous, because you cannot negate the continuous effects, unfortunately. Other benefit to this is if you have a Harpie monster, you can activate this card from your hand, so you pretty much have a Harpie hand trap. The last effect, which is unfortunate for TCG, is if this card was destroyed on your spell and trap zone, you can add Harpie's Feather Duster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Unfortunately, Harpie's Feather Duster is banned, so in the TCG. So unless we get Lord of the Storm reprint, or they decide to print a spell or trap that treats itself as Harpie's Feather Duster, that's the only real way this card can get much use. I don't see them errating Feather Duster, because if that was the case, then Feather Duster would be unbanned by now and would be errated in the OCG. So that is Storm. Hysteric Party, pretty much Harpie's special summon tactic card in a nutshell. Harpie Chandler, Queen, Dancer, and Harpist are treated as Harpie Lady while they're in the graveyard. You discard one card from your hand. You set summon as many Harpie Ladies from your graveyard to the field as possible. And this card is pretty much your setup, your in-game mechanic, your let's push for game type of card, and I've done that multiple times with multiple conditions. This card is my favorite of the Heartbeat traps, in second to Featherstorm. Well, it ties with Featherstorm actually. But yeah, you can discard any Harpie card, any card in general. You can discard Hysteric Sign, get its effect off, and have a defense for that turn. And next turn, you can set up and deal with a lot of problems. Phantasmal can come out of this. Just so many different plays can come out of Hysteric Party, and it's why it's it pretty much ties as Harpie's best trap card in the game. Next, the last trap in my deck is just pretty much the Solemn Brigade. Solemn Strike, Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment at 1-ofs. I could possibly run more strikes, but strike is very expensive at this moment, and it's hard to find some supers. So. Alright, that is the main deck. We're going to go on to the extra deck. Simple cases, my Harpie toolbox. 1 Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 2 Lightning Chidori, 2 Castel, and 1 Ice Beast Zerophine. That's pretty much my Harpie Exceed lineup. Winged Beasts are Harpie monsters. Is pretty much what they generate when it comes to Exceeds. These are pretty much their most reliable and their most helpful and useful. The only reason why there's double Castel and Chidori outside of Zerophine is because you have a lot more synergy with these because of their being attribute of wind, as opposed to her being water attribute. She does get the bonus from Harpie's Hunting Ground, which is amazing, but Harpie Lady 1 and his 1 gives Chidori that additional power. Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon is still a Harpie monster no matter where, just in the sense of its name. And Castel gets the bonus from Harpie 1. He gets the bonus from Harpie's Hunting Ground. You can set Feather the Storm and then flip Feather Storm to protect Castel. Just the simple fact that if Castel had Harpie in his name, pretty much it would just be one of the most broken utility monsters. We'd probably kick out Harpie's Pet Dragon if that was the case. I'd probably run 1 in like 2-3 Castel. But yeah, that's pretty much my toolbox engine of my Winged Beast Dragon Harpie setup. And then following that, I got 1 Gaga Cowboy, 1 Bogaza, the terribly tired Tape Eater, 1 101 Honor Arc, and 1 106 the Giant Hand. Pretty much the rank 4s are live in this deck. No rank 3s, no synchros, just Exceeds and Links. And these pretty much are your generic toolboxes in a lot of cases. I could run Abyss Dweller, but I'm choosing not to because I really don't see much right now utilizing the graveyard unless your lights on. But if that was the case, then I'd probably just swap out a couple of monsters anyway, just to fit it in. I'd probably have to refix the deck too, just to try to fit in. So at least know Abyss Dweller was in the extra deck. And had some great synergy too. My Link monsters: 1 Decode Talker, 1 Gaia Saber, 2 Malice Radiant, and 1 Link Spider. So I'm going to talk about the Malice Radiant, and it has to do with the Scapegoat. Because Great Fly is not out, your only other options are to run generics, which take up a large portion of your monster lineup. Even if you play Hysteric Sign, Soul Charge, you still have to opt out. That most of your board's probably going to be gone at that point. With Scapegoat, you just have to wait for that turn and hope they survive during your opponent's turn. If you can get to the Malice Radiant, and at least get 1 or 2 on the board, you can go into Decode Talker or Link or Gaia Saber and at least have them viable, as well as Link Spider. That way, you can get these 2 onto the board without trouble. These 2 are just here to help into that situation. They do hurt the Harpies in terms of attack and defense decrease. But once Great Fly comes out, pretty much I'm swapping them out for Great Fly. when he comes out. But I do love the card. It is adorable. But water doesn't have tokens that I could use off of, and there's no fire tokens or cards that it would probably fit in. So I did have to go to Earth, and that's primarily why they're here. Link Spiders is pretty much here because Vanilla's. And I'm running Vanilla Harpie ladies. So, and since tokens aren't effect monsters, just give me another additional card to go into more additional cards. So that's pretty much it for the Link monsters, and then the rest of my cards are pretty much tokens. Goat tokens, 2 various stray lambs, and then I took like the Duel Links tokens from my structure decks. I mean the Duel Links cards and turned them into tokens. So that is pretty much it for this deck profile, you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Please come by the stream if you can and give a shout out and all that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, you guys, HPJ signing out. Take care.